other guy said, "Oh, I was thinking about you. I hadn't talked to him in 5 years." So, KFR. That should be our motto in real estate these days.
Isn't that awesome how simple that is? And I bet you have a really complicated script when you pick up the phone and call people, don't you?
Oh, it's been vetted by every LLM. I mean, yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. Like, it starts with hello. I mean, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I
Yeah.
know. Renee Funk and I would talk about that during COVID. Everybody's like, what do we do? How do we say? What do we call our clients and say? I was like, well, here's the script. Hey, how are you? It's been a while. I just wanted to call and see how you're doing.
Ford,
Not hard.
right? Ford.
Kudos to you, Brian. Yeah, Cheplack, for those of you that were there, he was pretty, I will say, I will be very, and this is being recorded, so I will be held to it, but I had a little bit of bias and a little bit of judgment, not gonna lie, because I've seen him in different settings and I've seen him in different, and I'm like, he's not my style, he's not my thing. And I will tell you, he changed my thinking. He brought some powerful reminders, powerful nuggets. He was definitely influential and inspirational in a number of ways, in different ways. And so, John Cheplack,
It,
Michael
com- it,
Putty too.
it comes with a very strong, consistent message. Pick up the
Yeah,
phone.
yeah, pick up the phone. So awesome. Renee Funk, I love that you're raising your hand. That's actually very funny. Who are y'all talking about? Lauren Hernandez. We're talking about John Cheplack. And for you guys, if you don't know this, university brings John Cheplack in for teams once a month. So y'all can jump into his trainings. Again, well, you might not know this. John Cheplack for 20 minutes. Do you know how much his coaching cost is for 20 minutes? Take a guess. Anyone?
Oh, it's an absurd number.
$2,000 for 20 minutes with John Cheplack. He's got what he said 250 clients. They pay him $2,000 for 20 minutes.
Elizabeth, the most amazing thing about that?
Hmm.
He said, "Guys, do you know how I came up with that number?" And we're like thinking, why? And he said, "Because that's what I knew my worth was." So we all need to remember that as realtors, why we charge what we charge, because that's what we're worth.
Yeah. So 20 minutes for $2,000. Yet EXP brings him in and others like him. Mike Del Preti was in, Renee Rodriguez, Jared James. For those that are individual producers, 4 million and above every single month, we have a mastermind with Jared James or Renee Rodriguez or others. So you guys get into expuniversity.com. They've just completely relaunched it and revamped it. There's so much content there. The toolkits are amazing as well if you need all of that information. But university, there's so much training that we all would be paying so much money for that the company is providing for our benefits. So anyway, Cheplack was awesome. Renee Funk, you had your hand up before we jump into Tanin.
We're talking wins, and some of us were in Dallas. Huge win. If you're not following Mike Del Preti, please do. I'm going to drop in his link to his website. He has nothing to sell. Mike is a real estate data analyst. He's out of Boulder, Colorado. And Mike was he was the keynote speaker for Dallas. And I got to tell you, once again, he delivered. Again, nothing to sell. He analyzes data. And some of the things he was talking about EXP leadership, the numbers surrounding EXP and how EXP continues to lead from the front. I just want to make sure you all realize once again how proud you can be of the leadership at the helm of EXP. When you follow Mike, you'll see more and more depth, but I'm so damn proud. So follow Mike. Nothing to sell, all just information.
And he doesn't own stock in any of the companies that he analyzes. So he doesn't own stock in EXP. He doesn't own stock in Compass. He doesn't own stock in any of those. So we'll try and get the video. I bet it'll be released. It was really, really good, or portions of it, and we'll put it in the tribe. If you guys are on this call, you're in the tribe group. If you aren't in the tribe group, join the tribe group in Workplace. We'll have a new platform once Slack. We'll have a new process once Slack comes out. But we'll make sure we add the links and everything in the tribe group in Workplace. So anyway, all right, cool. I think I see Tannen. Oh, I do see Tannen. There she is. So those some of you are new to Friday Huddle. Every week we do production based for sometimes we'll have some of the growth leaders in talking about attraction through production. Every single Friday is a different conversation. Every different Friday is a different person from around the country. because it's awesome when we lock arms and we can all lift each other as we climb and get nuggets. And I want each and every one of you, when you walk into this room and when you leave, I want you to be smarter than when you came in this morning. So oh, Dustin, you're doing AHA next week in Illinois. That's amazing. Congrats on that. Let us know how that goes, by the way. A lot of AHA is stepping up. But anyway, back to Tanin. Tanin is a fierce, kind-hearted servant leader agent out of Florida. I've got to know her over the years. She is amazing in what she brings to the table. You probably have seen her before, but we asked her to come back and pour into each and every one of you guys. So Tanin, thank you for being our guest. Thank you for coming back again. And I gave you, let me make sure, you've got screen share capability, and it is all yours, my friend.
Good morning, everyone. Like Elizabeth Riley said, I'm Tanin Teston out of Orlando, Florida. Not by the theme parks, I am far east Orlando, but I do have all my notes here. So if you see me look down from time to time, it's because when I have a lot of information that I'm excited to share, I like to stay on track and make sure that I'm not missing anything. So don't mind if you see me looking down or if I need to grab my readers for a minute. I'm a small team, husband and wife team, and I joined real estate in 2016 after 17 years in title insurance. So I have a long history of being in real estate or related industries. And one of the first things that I did when I joined my husband back in 2016 was to reanalyze our database and to figure out how were we reaching our customers and what's our best use of time. And I was a little bit more of the behind the scenes person. So while he's a very high eye on the disc profile, he's out there chatting with everybody and, being the salesperson that he is, I'm the person that's behind the scenes, making sure we're contacting them in other avenues versus face to face. So one of the first things I did was I took his database that he kept up here, mind you, and I put it into an Excel spreadsheet, very old school. This was before I was with EXP, before I even knew what a real CRM was all about. And I did old school Excel spreadsheet, and I put everybody into an email marketing database, Constant Contact, because that's who my title insurance company used to reach out to realtors. So I went through and I spent the first couple weeks just inputting everybody into an email database so we can reach out to them. And the reason why I love email marketing, and I know there's so many different ways to market out to our customers, but I find it's probably one of the most cost-effective way to stay in front of your database. It's pennies on the dollar for what you're spending and what you're receiving. You can really accurately track who's receiving this information and what are they seeing. You're in charge of that. And I hope from this small conversation that we have this morning that you're able to get some strategies for yourself to, if you're not already email marketing, it encourages you to do so, and hopefully get you to convert more leads from it. So one of the things that I share with some of our newer realtors, and even when I'm speaking, because I'll talk about farming and other things as well, I always like to talk about the passive sales versus assertive sales, because those are two separate things. And our passive sales, or assertive sales, they're assertive, right? They're your door knocking, they're your cold calling, they're your picking up your phone and making that assertive. You're reaching out to them and initiating that conversation. That's your assertive sales. Your more passive sales, which probably I lean more towards because I'm more of the, I'm not that I'm the passive one, but it's going to be your mass mail out. So your postcards, or you're sending the information out there, your social media, putting the information out on social media, waiting for those likes, waiting for those replies, and then your email marketing, putting it out there, waiting for people to click or respond, right? So I'm going to teach you how to take that passive sales and how you can make it assertive and warm calls as well. So just out of curiosity, how many of you are currently emailing your database at least once a month? You can show of hands.
Put a 1 in the box if you are. That's
Yeah.
easy to track too. There you go.
That's one of your touch points, right? If I've learned this through coaches in the past, how many times you're supposed to touch your database, and mass marketing whether it's through email marketing or through mail direct, that's giving you opportunities at least 12 times a year at a minimum to reach out to your database. So I was doing some research on why email marketing works beyond my own experience, but then also looking at why email marketing is working in 2025. And it's because the rate of return that they're given to email marketing is by far one of the greatest returns for the little amount of marketing that you're spending. When you're looking at passive marketing and you're doing, whether it's postcards, look at how much money it costs to send out one postcard without the guarantee that you're going to be able to track to know, did they get it? Did they look at it? How long did they look at it before they threw it in the garbage, right? They said that the rate of return for your email marketing is about $36 to $42 for every $1 spent. So I went back and I looked, and that's really kind of a hard thing to gauge, right? Because when you're looking at where your business came from, and I hope everybody does this as well, when you are looking at each individual transaction that closes, where does that business come from? You should be able to pinpoint, how did I get that customer and what's my source of business? So whether it was open house, through farming directions, through door knocking, through social media, you should be able to track that, right? And I will say very, very rarely, if ever, will it be email marketing. That's probably not one of your sources of business. However, don't disregard that as not being very important in that follow-up and that staying in front of your customers and reminding them who you are. So whether it's, it may not be the direct reason why you got that customer to begin with, and that's your source of business reason, but it is a very good possibility that that's how you stayed in front of them and how you've stayed top of mind with them. But they say it's about 3,600%. So when I do the math and I go back and I look at our past customers and who we've closed on and how often we've stayed engaged with them through emails, it does accurately come to about that $36,000 a year in commission, gross commission. So that's, depending on your market, 2 to 3 deals just from staying in contact through emails. The other reason that email marketing works so well in 2025 is because you own your audience. Unless you're paying to play in the social media world, you don't own that audience. TikTok is telling you who's going to be able to see your information that you're putting out there. Instagram Reels, they are telling you who's going to be able to see your Reels. They pick and choose, right? It's not you choosing. Email marketing, you're specifically putting in your list of who you want to see your information, how often they're going to get it, and what they're going to see. So you own that list.
Can
The
I
other
really
reason why
quick
it's
to
so
that?
important.
Really quick to that. So, what's interesting, and especially going back to the Dallas thing, everybody geeked out because Seth and Glenn got on stage and they were talking AI. And a lot of people, you'll hear them say, get away from email, get away from email, to your point, because it's like everybody's spamming and there's just too much and it's noisy. But then what we were hearing from stage was absolutely opposite of that. And then Glenn and Seth were up there and we all did literally opened up our computers and we were creating our own GPTs. So to your point with the email newsletter and the email marketing, what if you brought your own voice and your own personality in there and had your own GPT created? Look at me talking AI and GPT, like I know what the heck I'm talking about. I'm failing forward, y'all. I'm dangerous. I know enough to be dangerous. But you can create your own GPT saying, okay, here's all the information about me. You know my voice, you know my tone. Write a letter kind of from a friend, but include these different things. And so it's not your stuffy old email that everybody else is sending, like, oh, things to do around town, and I have this many listings, because nobody really cares. But you can use the GPTs to implement your personality so they feel like they're building that relationship with you. And that relationship is going to turn into business, right? So, yeah, Tana, to your point, using email marketing in a very strategic way, but it doesn't have to be the same old stuff that everybody's doing.
Chat GPT and just AI in general. I mean, I have gotten to where I use that for almost everything. So it's enough, enough to be dangerous with it, but I love it. It's one of the other reasons that email marketing is still relevant. And I just looked at how many emails I have, to your point of how much spam and how much stuff we get. I've got 46,000 emails between my 5 email inboxes, but the emails that I check consistently obviously have 0 in there. But if anything, I still see them. I still see them every day, even if it's just to scroll past it. I saw it for that brief second. I see it when it pops up on my phone as a notification. Even if I don't click on it and read it, I see it for that second. I see that they sent me something. So it's still that reminder of that you're there, whether they're opening or not. But we will dive a little more deeper into what gets engagement, what gets open, what gets deleted. So very similar to what your postcard marketing is going to do. They're going to see it. They may look at it for a second, delete it, throw it in the garbage, but at least it's there, right? And then the fourth reason why it's still relevant today, because it still builds trust and consistency as long as you're providing that valuable content and it's not that spam. So one of the first things that you should do if you haven't done this already, and this goes back to, and I can't remember what her name is, but I was on your huddle about a month ago, and there's a woman who is talking about segmenting your lists and your database and really scrubbing that.
Amber Joy.
Was that her name?
I think
Oh,
it's
okay. Well, see, this is how social media works. As that day I went and started following her on Instagram, never saw her again. And I couldn't remember her name. And I tried to go back and find it. I said, this is Instagram not letting me see who I want to see. They're hiding the people from me that are probably the most important that I should watch. So back to my point of owning your own audience versus social medias. But let me write that down real quick so I can go back and find her.
Tan,
So
and
the
I
first
think
thing,
that's a good reminder you just said too, is when we're working with emails is we're not marketing outwardly enough for people to join our email list. Probably all of us should have some more intention around that, because here, look at, that's an example of you want to receive her information, but social media is not putting it in front of you. But I bet if you had an invitation to join her email list, you would.
absolutely. So that was one of the things I was going to touch base on, is how do you even build that list? So obviously you're going to have past customers. You're going to put them in there. You're going to have anybody you meet from open houses. One of the things that we do, Dan and I, we farm heavily in our community. We ask for their information when we're out at events. When we just hosted an event this week, and every single person that came through, we had them sign up, give us their information so we can put them into the email list. And then from there, you can even segment it even further. If you wanted to put it through, these are your past customers. So you know they're going to get special invitations, whether you have events or customer appreciations. Those are going to be in one certain list. You're going to have your everyday people that are coming into your CRM because they're clicking on finding homes or what's my home worth. Those are automatically going to be populated into your email list. And then segment those so that the information that you provide to them is going to be relevant to what they want to look at. I've got a separate email that I do just for my neighborhood farm, just for the people that live close by within our zip code. They're going to get more specific, detailed information on what's going on in the area, things to know, new businesses that are coming, versus past customers who may get a little more personal emails versus the ones who are just random into my KV core, and they're going to get my more general email blast. So I've got different ones that I set up. And you can do it even more specific if you wanted to do that. I've got within my own community, my farming, I had another list that if they clicked on a certain thing in my email, they were going to get all the new construction that's coming up, all the residential and commercial business, or if they're looking for a specific neighborhood, we've got a big development coming up. They want to know just about that. They clicked on keep me informed on that. So now they're in a separate database that I can just send that information to. So really, you can fine tune it, but also don't make it too difficult for yourself, right? You don't want this to be a chore, to be a job that is going to take so much out of your time. It is an awesome tool to be able to do, but you don't want to overwork it to where it becomes begrudgingly done because you've got so many different lists and so many different emails. And sometimes it's just being a little more general and then finding out what are people engaging with. So let's talk about that. Let's
Really,
talk
sorry,
about
Hannah, before you jump, Diller had her hand up. So I think it had to do, where'd she go? Diller, did you have a question? Okay, never mind.
Oh,
Well,
it was
there's-
Diller who I was following.
Oh, was it Diller?
Yes.
Oh, Diller, speak up. Where'd you go?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Sort of, you're going in and out, but yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you take your tag list from Follow Up Boss and run it through AI to show you your highest tags, you can segment your emails based on the habits of your, and then email them.
Are you just doing chat GPT or are you setting up a specific GPT for that?
Well, now that I've learned how to do those in Dallas, I will start doing that. My VA does it a little bit, but I will just download it. It's really quickly to throw it in there. And then let's just say the last 30 days, for some reason, the zip code for Kyle, Texas popped up higher and they were all searching for homes under 400,000. So then I just create a message to those top people and only email them because your deliverability will be higher.
That's awesome.
So like sometimes I'll only email, like yesterday we did one for a new Round Rock listing and we only had in our database like 133 people who in the last 90 days had been on our website for Round Rock. So there was no reason to go email, the 9,000 in the database. And
Well,
it's easier to follow up based on who opens those because now you have, let's say, like 30 people opening those. And so then you pick up the phone to those people who open your message. But you can do that in ChatGPT if you're using the tags in Follow Boss.
or any of the whatever database
Yeah.
you're using. But the cool thing about what you're talking about too, that I think made it so cumbersome in the past. I mean, 9,000 emails, 9,000 content. When you have big databases like that, how do you deliver the content that's relevant to that person so they're not opting out, right? Because if they start getting information that they're opting out because they're like, this isn't relevant, now within minutes, ChatGPT can help you already streamline that process a little better. That's brilliant.
Yeah, and the new Gmail and other server DNS rules, they're going to actually put your email that you're pushing out content through on a list, and it's not going to get there anyways.
Diller, I would love to see a little 20-minute sample of how you do that at some point.
I
Yeah,
think
and
you
then
have to have Diller come into Friday Huddle and do a workshop too.
I just dropped in the chat the guy who sets up our server for our deliverables, and he sends me a report every week to ensure that we're getting our emails opened, and it's been a game changer for us. I paid $1,300 for 9,000 emails to be scrubbed and for my email to be set up the right way.
So Steve had mentioned in the chat, Constant Contact does that. So that's who I use is Constant Contact. And it will automatically, if I have it set up to where if anybody clicks on this link, they will automatically get put into another list that's just for what I'm specifically looking for. So whether it's you're searching homes for under a certain price point, or I want to know about new construction, as soon as they click it, it automatically saves it as that in that other list as well. So I can separate them automatically without having to go back and scrub. It just does it, which is amazing. Which is the importance of finding the tools that work for you versus just sending out a mass email or individual emails. Let the tools work. There's amazing tools out there.
Elizabeth, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so super quick shameless plug for Constant Contact. They will give you incredible analytics after you send out your emails too. So my open rate averages about 45%, which is incredible. And I'm paying $250 a month to have somebody, a sort of data analyst, help me lay out specific and draft up specific emails targeting the different groups in my Constant Contact database. So it's really incredible. A lot of people like MailChimp. I prefer Constant Contact, have been with them for over a decade. So we can talk more about that. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder, but Constant Contact is amazing. So
someone had posted out in the chat, and I can't find it now, but it was talking about KV Core. And if they opt out of KV Core, are they still in your Constant Contact? Yes, they are. I had one that I looked at today I can see that they've opened our Constant Contact email at least 30 times, but they've opted out of KV Core years ago. So I know that we're still staying in front of them, staying relevant. They work together. So there's a system with KV Core where it will pull all my KV Core people into Constant Contact automatically. So as soon as they click on get into my KV Core, they're also going into my Constant Contact as well. So the question comes up is how often should I email somebody? And you want to do it enough to stay relevant, but not enough to get on the unsubscribe list, right? So for myself, we do it one time a month. and it's going to everybody in our email database. However, we also stay in front of our core 300 people that are our past customers and clients who send referrals through regular mail as well. So now I'm hitting them twice a month, and we do it once at the beginning of the month. They get an email. Middle of the month, they get the hard copy letter in the mail. For our farm, we do the same thing. We've got about 1,200 homes that we do mass regular mail out to, and then one time a month email. So I know we're touching them twice. And then if they follow us on social media, even better, we get to stay in front of them again. But I guess it depends on the information that you're providing. Now, if we've got somebody who's looking at new construction, we know that they want to know more specific details about a niche in our area, then they may get a little more frequent. As we get updates, I'm updating them because I want them to know that they're the first to know. As soon as I know, you know. So they may get a little bit more frequent emails, but they've asked for it as well. So I know I'm not going to go into a spam folder or delete because they specifically asked for that information. One of the things that I always include in our email blasts, and I do things in an order. So the first thing that we do is we do a video, both vertical and horizontal. Vertical goes into social media. Horizontal goes into our YouTube. Because remember, we control our audience and we control what they see and where we direct them to. We always want to build other areas for them to come out and see us. So we always do YouTube, and it's a short video. We do our YouTube video, and then we put it in a blog post on our website. And then when we share that in our email blast, it's going to take them to our website, and it's going to take them to our YouTube videos within our website. So here we're directing them where we want them to go. And the importance of the video is to show our face in it. It's always a quick video, and we're going to be in it in some way or fashion. So it's a reminder of who we are, what we do, what we look like. So if you see us out and about, you're going to recognize us. If we haven't closed a transaction for you in 10 years, you're going to remember what we look like because you're going to see us every single month on our postcards and in our videos that we send out to you. Within your emails,
Dustin has a question in the chat for you, Tanin.
let's see. So we do hard copy and an email. Is it same or similar? Not always. A lot of times we'll do a hard copy postcard that's more of a tip or a QR code link to our website, but it's not always, we don't always do the same content. We change it up because I want them to, if they've already seen the hard copy, they don't need to see it again in email form. I want them to want to see what else there is. So some of the things that we put in our newsletter, we keep it like a plug and play. A lot of things we keep the same month after month because we want to keep our branding the same. We want to keep our information that we can see what they're seeing the same. But we always do a video, and we share something that's either going to help them save money, or make life easier for them. So it could be something fun, like what are the best beaches to go to for spring break, or at the end of the school year, what school districts have the best grades in Central Florida. So something that is going to get them engaging. It's always the who, what, where, when, or how. And sometimes it's going to surprise you what they're clicking on and what they're engaging with. I mean, one of our biggest opens was, how did ChatGPT describe our latest listing? And that's not something we typically do at an All About Us thing, but I was coming up short on what to send out to our database, and that ended up being the #1 thing last year that people clicked on. So sometimes they just want to see something fun, and then we throw in there always a just listed featured listing. Never leading off with that, by the way. It's always somewhere down towards the end showing that, hey, we are in business. We do real estate. Here's one of our listings. Take a look. Some things that you could do are prepping for hurricane season or restaurants to go to, things of that nature. But really finding out the analytics of what are your customers engaging with, and then play off of that. So we always as well have searching for homes by different niches. So homes that are 500,000 and less, homes that are 500,000 above, homes that have acreage, homes that have pools, condos and townhomes. If I start to see that a lot of people are clicking on homes $500,000 and less, guess what? That's probably where my target market is right now. And I'm going to do my next monthly email is going to be something to do either about how to fix up homes, what are things to look at when you're buying a resale home or investment property. So using that analytics to really figure out who your customers are. Within your body of your email, everything should be clickable. Pictures, clickable. Where are you directing them to? You're going to keep the paragraph short with a read more here, clickable. Where are you directing them to? Videos, clickable. Putting in the buttons, click here for more information. Using Canva. How amazing that now we have Canva available to us that you can put together pictures with a picture of you inside of it saying, click here, and now they click on that picture, that's where they're going to where you're directing them. So really making it easy for the customer to know how to get somewhere and making it easy to read and easy on the eyes. So as far as personal emails to people, one thing I was reading on realtor.com was they were saying to send out CMAs and things like that as your blast. And I believe that's more of a personal thing, that once you see where people are engaging on if they're clicking on what's my home worth, guess what? Now that's going to be your follow-up email with a more personalized and a phone call. Let's talk about what your home's worth. Why are you clicking on it?
Tanin, I was just meeting with we do fellow, and the people that's what's my home worth, and the people that are looking at what's my home worth, 7% of them they're finding are listing their home within the next year. That's a huge, huge number. 7%. Like if you could give me a list of anything and tell me that there's 7% of the people that are looking to transact, that's gold. So I'd really hone in on that number, those
And
people.
that should be on every single monthly. That's one thing you don't remove from your email blast. That's always on there. So let's start at the very first thing that they see, right? It's going to be your subject lines. And let's go back to this AI portion. One of the things that I love too about Constant Contact is that it's got the A/B comparison, right? So you can choose how many people are going to see this subject line, how many people are going to see this subject line, and then based on the open rate, Constant Contact will say, hey, you know what, more people open this one. For the rest of the 50%, let's send this subject line out. So you want it to be engaging and you want to see what it is that it's going to open it up. And it's going to be your who, your what, your why, your where. So for example, I threw some in there that we've done. Why is spring the best time to build a house? What's the most overlooked home maintenance that that people forget about this year? Where are Floridians moving to this year? Who has the best school grades? So think about the who, what, why, where, what's going to get them engaged, and then use that A/B system if you have it to figure out what's the most engaging one. One thing I won't do is, and I put it in ChatGPT to give me some ideas, and one of theirs that they gave was talking about the interest rates. And I'll probably never do interest rates right now are not a positive thing to talk about, right? They are doom and gloom because they're not great. And I know that. So I don't want the first thing people to think about when they're opening an email is something doom and gloom, or what are the interest rates right now? When are they going to go down? Let's forget about interest rates for a while. Let's talk about the good things to see, the positive things, what's going to engage you, right? So that's my personal preference. Some people, they love to, especially news articles, you'll see it, they'll start with the doom and gloom to capture their readers. I'm probably the opposite of that, but to each their own, right? And so 60% of the emails are opened on your mobile phone. So you're going to want to use large fonts. You're going to want to use short paragraphs. And then if you have to add to it, have that click here, read more here, see more here, and then direct them where you want them to go, but keep it short and sweet. People like to read comfortably at an 8th grade level or even less than that 7th grade level. So if you're finding that you're using big words, you're the William Shakespeare of real estate, you got to dumb it down a little bit. And one way I like to use AI is I will write out what I want to say, put it in ChatGPT, and I say, dumb it down to a 7th grade level. And it will take it, rewrite it, and bring it down. So now I'm appealing to the masses and making it easy. You're going to keep it consistent. So every month you're going to keep it on the same consistent, or every 2 weeks. Treat it like a marketing appointment on your calendar. Always use your logo, your photo. You better have your contact information. One of the realtors up in North Carolina, I'm on his email blast as well. And he has his tagline, the hardest working realtor in the mountains. Every time I see that pop up, I know exactly who it's coming from, and reminder of who he is, where he is, what locations he serves. So if you've got a tagline and you want to use that as your reel every single time, keep it consistent. Always have clear call to actions, right? You want them to have that engagement. So whether it's what's my home worth, clicking on that, scheduling phone calls, scheduling times, searching for homes. Those are clear call to actions. If you have neighborhood guides that you want to include every single time, put it in there as a link. And here's my neighborhood guide. So we talked a little bit, I think it was Steve that had mentioned about open rates, right? The average realtor's open rates for the real estate marketing is about 35 to 40%. That's a good return. If you're sending out thousands, you're getting hundreds and hundreds of people who are opening it. And I hope that you're using a system that you can really track and see how many people are opening it, how many times do they go back and open it. That's important, right? If they're just opening it once, like, okay, they're interested, they saw it. If they go back and open it 3 and 4 times, you better believe that should be a person high on your list to follow up with, because they are engaging multiple times. There's something that's interesting them there. The click-through rate is going to be much lower. A lot of people just like to read, scroll through it, and then it goes into delete, which is fine. As long as they're not unsubscribing. You want your unsubscribe rate at 1% or less. So even if they're not as engaging clicking on everything, as long as they're opening it and they're not unsubscribing it, count those as wins. And from there, you can play around to see what's getting the most engagement, clicking and modifying your letters, your newsletters to go towards those who are opening it. So if you're at a 20% open rate, it could be your subject lines are not that engaging to where they want to open it. So that's where you want to play around with those subject lines. If you're below 15%, maybe it's your email list quality, right? You're not emailing it to the right people who want to engage with you. So the biggest thing to look at when you're looking at your, and you know what? Oh, I don't know if I can open up my constant contact on Dan's computer. But when you're, let me ask you this. What do you think is the most important thing when you're sending out your monthly email marketing? Anybody have an idea what's the most important thing?
Consistency.
Good answer. It's not consistency.
Your face.
That's good too. But no, it's not your face.
Your phone number.
Understanding. Go ahead, Copeland.
I was saying your phone number. How do they reach you?
I'll tell you what it is. The most important thing is going to be your follow-up. Your follow-up afterwards. So when we talk about passive to assertive marketing, this is a great opportunity for passive marketing to lead you into an assertive phone call, to reaching out to those who are opening your emails, who are clicking on things, who are opening multiple times. This is your thing. Open up, pull out your phone. If you see somebody, I did the, what was it, the fast track? And they said through EXP, and they said you have to have 5 conversations of real estate a day. If you're running out of people to call or can't think of who should I call today for my 5, open up your email, see who's been opening them up. That's your warm phone calls that you're going to reach out to.
Also, social media, Tannen, like going to Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say 5 people a day console, congratulate, or compliment. You can scroll there too and get ideas of talking to people. I mean, there's a ton of graduation stuff going on. I've been having a lot of conversations with clients and past clients and current clients. How are you doing, Mama? Are you breathing? I see that, you've got a kiddo graduating. And then I'm following up with cards, the holiday graduation cards with a gift card to the kid, right? So I'm taking the conversations past, taking it off the social because you're watching them, right? And then you can have a conversation with them and be intentional. And then from there, I'm also sending gift cards to their kids. So you can think past just the email. Yes, they're opening up your email, but then kind of see what's going on in their life. And it gives you an end to have a meaningful conversation instead of, hey, how are you doing? Right?
100%. So one of the things that we do share a lot with our emails as well is updates on the schools and how schools are doing, what activities schools are doing. So if I see somebody clicking on school stuff, or that led me into here's neighborhoods, top 3 neighborhoods in Central Florida with the best schools that are under this price. Now I'm seeing who's clicking on that, but you're right. It gives you that opportunity to call them and say, hey, how's the family doing? Because they're interested in the school systems, right? So looking for those clues. One thing to always think about too, and this is no matter what successful realtor I have watched, followed, been to a class on, listened to, the one thing that they have in common every single time is that they are consistently adding to their database every single day. Whether you're in social media and you've got people DMing or comment here for this, they're going into your database. You're master at open houses, you're adding people to your database. You're a door knocker, you're adding people. Every single successful realtor is constantly adding to their database, and then they're following up with them consistently and figuring those follow-up ways. So make that your goal of adding those people into your email database, at least 5 to 10 people a week, adding them in there, and then doing those 5 follow-up calls a day, whether it's picking people from social media or through your emails or just through your CRM. I like to get people into my database, like I said, through events, asking them to fill out. You don't want to be a spammer. Because that will trigger for your emails not to be sent if it's a spam. So I've gotten through a lot of things I want to go through. So if anybody has any questions, I'm open, or if you've got your own success stories that you can share, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. This is one of those things that you can chat with other realtors and say, hey, what are you sending out that's been successful for you? I'm going to do the same thing, because more than likely, those people are not in your database. So you're not double dipping, sending them twice the information. And Renee mentioned asking other agents to include you on your list. Absolutely. I'll get on other agents when I meet them over at EXP events. I get on their list. I want to see what they're sending to people.
Yeah, I save all their mailers too, their emails and their mailers. It's market research. Carrie, it's just taking one thing at a time, because I mean, Tannen, you got to understand too, this didn't happen overnight, right? It's processes that you're slowly setting up for yourself. So just start doing it and taking one thing at a time and then building off of that. Don't get overwhelmed, because if I'm listening to Tannen and all the things that they're doing and I know what they do, like it gets very, very overwhelming. And then you're getting ready to get ready, right? Don't get ready to get ready. Just start and build off of that and redirect where you need to.
One of the other great things that I love about the constant contact system is that I can send out my mass email, and then if I go through and I'm scrubbing my list, I'm adding more people, I can say, hey, resend to just these people that haven't been sent this before. Or I can say resend to those who haven't opened it. So now it's going in front of them twice as a reminder to open it. So use the tools that are there, but don't overwork it. If you do it once a month, it should be very easy for you to set aside, especially if you're plugging and playing. You've done it 1 month. Now you just kind of copy and paste that and add in your few changes that you're making. It shouldn't take you but an hour or so to do this. Um, and I have no technical background whatsoever. I am the least technical person when it comes to anything on the computer. And if I can do it, you can certainly do it.
Hey, Tannen.
Yeah.
So I have been farming one community in Austin, and there are only 400 homes in this community. I have listed and sold over 40 houses in this one neighborhood as a result of my farming efforts. So highly successful at this, and I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars just in one community. And so if I can do it, all of you can absolutely do it. I would be more than happy to collaborate and share examples of information that I put on jumbo postcards. Super, super easy. I just pull 5 metrics from the MLS: sales volume, average list price, average sold price, number of homes since January 1st. Now would be a great time. People are really scratching their heads, wondering what's going on with the real estate market. At least they are in Austin. And then you use little infographics. People love infographics. If any of you guys look at USA Today, it's changed over the years. I'm not a big newspaper reader, but there's lots of little pictures that catch your attention. These are postcards that end up in someone's kitchen drawer. They don't get thrown away. And I know this because I've been doing it for like 8 years. And every single spring, I get 3 or 4 calls from people saying, hey, my name's XYZ. I'm Elizabeth. My husband and I got your postcard. Would you come and meet us Tuesday night at 6? Works like a charm. So for any of you guys who'd like to chat more about it, I would love to contribute and bring some value to these meetings. I'm super excited. I'm a newbie with EXP, but Elizabeth has graciously allowed me to join in on these calls. And so I want to make a contribution. And I want to share what I've been doing, and it works. So happy to share.
Cool,
That's
Steve.
awesome.
We'll definitely have a farming huddle one Friday too. We'll get you guys on the calendar. So
I
Renee?
shared in the link too. You're going to see a very handsome guy in a 3-piece black suit. That's my husband. I'm on his computer. But we shared the link. So if you want to get on my monthly email blast with tips and ideas too, click on that and I'll add you to my email database so you get those.
Awesome. Renee, what's up?
Steve Robertson sharing the farming postcards. There's so much good synergy. Thank you, Tannen, for everything you shared today. We can also think about what Steve's doing as that same messaging. You don't have to reinvent the wheel for your emails. What Tannen's doing in email could also be used for your postcards. And what Steve is doing on postcards, he can take that same messaging and send it in email. So this isn't about having multiple messages that need to go out. It's replicate it and send it through the marketing tree. So you both have been great, and I love the ideas. Tannen, just so you know, I'm sitting here back chatting with Jen, who handles the marketing. I'm like, great idea, great idea. So thank you. You're amazing.
Well, you're
I love
welcome.
how we all
Thanks for
share. And
having
yeah, I
me.
already signed up for your newsletter too. I mean, it's like, guys, a lot of us have been in the business for a long time, and a lot of y'all are newer, but we're always learning, right? And I mean, I've been in the business 20 years, and I get stale and I get complacent and I get redundant. So what Tannen said was, yeah, like always look at what other people are doing. It'll spark some interest. And that's what I love about this company, because we're opening up our playbooks and we're truly sharing what works. So Tannen, thank you for that. What else? We've got a few more minutes. Do y'all want to open up some questions for Tannen? Do y'all have some specific questions? I know we've been kind of interactive a little bit, but what is helpful?
I have a question for Tannen.
Go for it, Ola.
I've been using MailChimp and doing monthly newsletters for a long time. They get great interaction, great open rates, clickables, all that stuff. But it doesn't have as much of the kind of data that you're pulling from Constant Contact. Do you have anyone who's like a MailChimp whiz that might be able to help me dig into that more?
I do. And I met her through a woman entrepreneuring networking group, and she specializes in that, and she loves MailChimp. I have not dived too deep into it. I even know that KV Core has some of these same options, not nearly as in depth as what MailChimp would have or Constant Contact. But I will, let me see if I've got her information. I'll put it in the chat here too. So if anybody else also works with MailChimp and they want more information, they can get it from her. I want to say, let me find her on Instagram and I'll post it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You can also put your stats in ChatGPT and tell them you're trying to improve engagement or give you analytics and see what it spits out. Maybe that'll help guide you a little bit as well.
Y'all, that's when we talk more about AI. Put your stats from every single thing you do into chat. Like everything. Like every report you can get anywhere, from email, from your website, from any marketing that you do at all, put it in chat and say, hey, what's working, what's not, what should I do with this? Because we all do a lot of stuff, and if we're not going back to figure out, okay, why isn't this working the way it should, or how could this work better? Used to, we had to figure that out ourselves or have an expert or hire an expert. Now you can just put your reporting into it and it'll actually tell you what to go do.
You're also training it with your voice and your thought pattern. Thanks
Well,
for
and you can take, we learned this too, you can take any of your videos, if you've been on Zooms or videos or any of your actual speaking, you can upload a ton of content and you can train your own AI so that it'll take your voice, it'll take your tone. And so as you keep continuing to use it, it will build off of that. I didn't realize I could take videos or trainings or any of that information. I thought it always had to be in the written word, but it doesn't have to be.
This is almost scary. Scary world
Oh,
we
yeah.
live in.
Well, I mean, what freaked me out was when not Brian, who was it? Ben Lobby came in with Hey Jen. Like, you look at Hey Jen and he was doing all these videos and you can't tell it's actually not Ben, right? So, and we're only at the beginning of all the AI, and that's what Seth and Glenn were talking about the other day. We're only at the beginning of this thing, and I thought I had a good handle until they started going into this deep dive, and then they were talking about deep research and all these other things. Like, we're all just at the tip of the iceberg in the industry with AI. So I think so much is to come that none of us really even know yet. And I'm not even talking about, us on this call. I'm talking about in general, the public and the population. So it keeps evolving, and already it's so good, and you can't tell the difference that, yeah, it's scary, but you can use it for a powerful tool as well. So, awesome. Couple more minutes. Anything else? Was this helpful? Makes you think of things a little bit differently. Yeah. Tanin, you're amazing. Thank you for coming in and pouring in all the time. Again, she's in Orlando, Florida. Beautiful thing about our company, y'all, is that we're all over the place. And when one wins, we all win. We're all owners of this company. So I'm glad that you guys are plugging in every week. Have an amazing, amazing holiday weekend for all of you with grads. Congratulations again. And then what we'll do is pick back up next Friday. I think we're going to do some hands-on next Friday. Brian, yes? Thumbs up? Yeah. All right. So we're going to take, Brian and I have been back chatting on this because we were in there. And like I said, the session with Glenn and Seth and Leo and those guys was literally hands-on. Open up your computers. Do this. I mean, we were building different things out that we didn't even understand. And we simplified it. So Brian is going to do a hands-on workshop with all of us next Friday. And you'll definitely walk away with a lot of new tools. So make sure to be here Friday, 9 Central, 10 Eastern next Friday, and otherwise have an amazing holiday weekend.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you
Thanks,
guys for
Cheryl.
being here.
Thank you, Elizabeth.